Hi, I'm Layla, and I am a healthy woman inside and out.
My name is Amy Olivero Pertol, and I am a healthy woman inside and out.
My name is Georgette, and I am a healthy woman inside and out.
Thank you for joining us on The Healthy Woman Inside and Out. This show is for women, about women. I will tell you, it doesn't matter what you're going through, you're going to hear some amazing stories from women who have been through something, but yet they managed to get through it. I know that might be you. You might be going through something or have been through something and you just want to get through it. Well, The Healthy Woman Inside and Out want to help you on that journey. Or you might say, that's me, I've been there, I've experienced that. So I just want to tell you right now, if you're watching this show, you are a healthy woman inside and out. Welcome to The Healthy Woman Inside and Out. I'm Adele Foster, and I'm really excited today about our guest. She's going to share with us a little bit about panic, what it means to panic, and then how she came out to be a healthy woman inside and out. Also, we're going to be talking about HerTube, hertube.com, and she's going to tell us about that and what HerTube is all about and why you should become a part of HerTube. Welcome today, our guest today. Georgette, how are you?
I'm good, Adele. How are you?
I am wonderful. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks.
So I know just recently you had a panic attack. You didn't know what was going on with you.
No, I did not.
You thought you were having a heart attack.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, it's the weirdest thing. For the past 2 to 3 years, I have been dealing a lot with palpitations, a lot of chest pain and things like that. And so I initially went to my doctor and I said, look, I need to see a cardiologist because something must be wrong. I mean, I just did not think of panic attacks.
Okay.
And so what happened was I went to my cardiologist. I got all the possible procedures done, you know, between echocardiograms and all kinds of things done, and he said there wasn't anything wrong with me.
Okay.
With my heart, that was. So I've been on this journey for, like I said, for the last 2 to 3 years, and recently, about a month ago, I wound up back in emergency because I was still constantly getting these chest pains, and I started to not believe the doctor, and I said to myself, there's got to be something wrong. So at that particular time, my mom was up from New York, and she came to see me at the emergency room, and we had this conversation, and she said to me, you know, this sounds very similar to like when you were like, you know, a couple of years ago.
A little girl, okay, yeah, I got it.
When I was much younger.
Okay.
And she reminded me that she took me to 3 different doctors, 3 different hospitals in New York, and she was very angry with them because they could not find out what was wrong with me, and I was having a lot of palpitations, I was having chest pains, and it didn't dawn on me until she mentioned that. And I realized that, oh my God, I actually was having panic disorder from a very young age. And I didn't realize that until she brought it up. And so it just really made me think about the things that I was going through in my life. And even though I didn't think that I was anxious or anything like that, subconsciously, where everything stems from, that's what I found out. Where everything stems from was that I was obviously anxious for many things in my life, you know, and I was just really, that kind of helped me get a little bit more clarity because I first didn't think I was going crazy because I remember my husband leaving me when I was in emergency and they took blood and they were doing the enzymes to make sure I didn't have a heart attack and things like that. And I remember I literally sent him home because I was so frustrated. And after he left, I started crying because I really started to think that it was all in my head. You know what I mean? Like I really started to think maybe I am making this up because nobody could ever diagnose anything.
Right. The doctors couldn't find out why you were having these panic attacks.
Exactly. Oh, well, they didn't even tell me that they were probably panic attacks. They just said, well, it wasn't any heart issues. And so I left there thinking, well, if it's not any heart issues, then what's the problem? What's going on with me?
You know what's interesting? I'm hearing you say like the doctors couldn't find out, and I'm always saying they're practicing, so they don't know. You know, you have to tell them something, and if you can't, and all you're telling them is, oh, it's my heart. That's where they're going to look.
Right, and that's all I felt it was in the center of my chest. It was around my heart. I was getting, you know, this pressure under my neck. It was just. And of course, you look at these things online and then you get more anxious because
Right.
now I have like 15 symptoms of,
Right.
crazy diseases or, heart-related problems. So
And
it was
it
very
had
hard
nothing
for
to
me.
do with your heart.
No, it didn't have anything to do with my heart. It really didn't. It just had to deal with stresses and how I internalized the stress in my life.
And so now that you realize what's going on, what are you doing differently?
Well, I am now making myself much more calmer, even as soon as I get up. I've been working on meditation, but I really have not secured that lately. But I
Okay.
did decide, I'm going to do at least 5 minutes of just, even after I get up in the morning, just 5 minutes laying in bed and just calming myself before I start my day. Because for me, I think as soon as you get up, you always have stuff to do.
Right, your
especially
mind
as
is
an
racing.
entrepreneur, there's
Right.
always things to do, and you really have to find that time to just calm yourself. And also, the thing that I really learned the most about that is that you have to trust in the higher power. You have to.
Absolutely.
We say we have faith, and I realize I can't really say I have faith if I'm having panic attacks.
Exactly.
'Cause that
There's
was
something
kinda
going
not-
on there.
Exactly.
They're not in alignment.
That was
there.
not in alignment,
Right.
And so I just realized that whatever it is that I'm going through in my life, or whatever I have gone through in my life, is there because they're there to teach me lessons, and they're there to move me forward in my life. And so that kind of has really helped me to just sit back and know that everything's going to be okay. And before, I was always trying to fix something, and I really don't want to go back to, you're the oldest, you're all of these things, but those things do play a part in where you fit at in your family and the things that you have to deal with in your life. So,
And I truly understand that, being the oldest child myself as well. It's like everything falls on you.
Right.
And you internalize it.
yes, you internalize it.
And because you internalize it, it's like, oh my God, what do I do?
Exactly.
So we have these panic attacks, or it could affect us someplace else.
Yeah, it definitely
and
does.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing something different. That doing something different. I wake up in the morning and I calm myself down, which is really great. And I will tell our listening audience, yes, if you are going through something, meditation does help.
Yes.
Even if you give yourself 5
Right.
minutes a day.
Exactly.
I remember when I used to meditate, and maybe I should go back to it. I would light a candle so that my brain just focuses on me and my God. And we had a talk about that. And so I will tell you, being a healthy woman inside and out, it is so important that you give time to that. Now, Georgette, I know you're an entrepreneur,
with many things on the table.
With many
which
things
adds
on
to
the table,
anxiety.
which, yes, that adds to that anxiety. But I want to talk about one of your businesses, which is HerTube.
Right.
Can
right.
you tell me a little bit about HerTube? And also tell our listening audience what HerTube is all about?
Well, HerTube is a digital lifestyle TV network for women. And basically, we are a distributing platform for women to to put up their films, TV shows, and things like that. And we're actually part of the Roku family. Everybody's heard of Roku, but it's a on-demand streaming platform. And so our network is on there. And basically, we're looking to bring in content from women who are doing webisodes, films, and TV shows. And so we help to distribute that across our TV network platform, which reaches the U.S., Canada, Republic of Ireland, and Europe.
In Europe. Wow.
Yeah.
I had a brainstorm while you were talking. And of course, my brain is always working.
Yes.
I'm like Pinky in the
Yes.
brain. But, and I was just thinking, it's a pleasure. I want to thank you and your partner for actually saying, hey, Adele, why don't you put some of your content here? So I want to thank you guys
Yes.
for that. What's next for Georgette?
Wow. One thing that's next for me is to generate 100 films for HerTube, since I am the director of content management. So I'm always looking to acquire content. So if anybody has films or TV shows that they want to put on the HerTube network, they can always contact me. That's one of my main goals, is to build that network to a point where we have over 1 million subscribers, and we're actually in the process of doing that now. So we're very excited about that. My second project is a card game that was given to me. It was a God idea, basically what I call it. I love affirmations, just like you, and I wanted to create a book called I Am. And in the process of creating that book, I got this voice that said, you know what, it's great to create a book about affirmations, but I want you to take it a step further, and I want you to actually be able to have people have an affirmation exchange with each other.
Oh, wow.
Because it not only helps empower you, but it helps empower the
other person
that is doing the game with. And so that's what's unique to the game. The game is called I Am, You Are. And so really it is about affirming and exchanging affirmations with each other. Because I think people, either they long to, or they enjoy having wonderful things said about themselves. And people do not speak positively about people on a consistent basis.
No,
and they don't
don't
speak positively about themselves on a consistent basis. So I've always believed in affirmation. I think they're so important in moving forward in your life, because when you start affirmations, we know you don't necessarily believe sometimes the things that you're saying, right? So it's really just to reinforce that belief. And the same thing when you're speaking with somebody. So if I say, I am amazing, you are amazing. It helps that person to believe those things about themselves.
Right,
and that's what the game's about.
You know, when you say that, it reminds me of audio tape. And I know, I don't want to tell my age, but I had a cassette tape that I used to go to sleep with at night. And so it would say, I am amazing. Right. And then the tape would say, you are amazing. And then it say, you're wonderful. Right. And then it say, I am wonderful. Right. So it ingraining in your brain these thoughts. So when you wake up, you know that you're an amazing, wonderful person.
Exactly. And the thing was just not to empower yourself, which I think that's very important. But I think it is to empower your friends or the people that are around you at the same time. And that's really was central to the game and central to the idea of creating that, because it took it away from just all about you and put you in a position where you cannot be judgmental about the things that you're saying about somebody. Absolutely. And so that's how the game got started. I like that. And it kind of was a spun off from the word dynamic for me, because dynamic was a very powerful word for myself that I didn't believe I was as a person until
you are a dynamic person.
It's so funny because, when you hear those things, and people can say, well, I'm dynamic, I'm amazing. But if somebody says it to you, how do you feel when that shows up? And that was the thing. It was me and my friend Audrey who's doing the HerTube with me. Who started HerTube, and I'm partnering with her. And we did a radio show. And one of the guests on the radio show had a program where he helped you learn about your angels. And I'm into all different types of spirituality. I love all those things. And so part of that was this little plan that they wrote out. And this was a personal message. So the personal message came up with a word for your personal message for your life. Oh, wow. And when I read it, the personal message said, I am dynamic. And I literally started crying when we were on the phone. And he said to me, why? He couldn't figure out why I was crying. And I said, after all of these many years of creating a doll company, being a romance consultant, all the things that we've done, a book together. I never considered myself a dynamic person. And so for me, that was very challenging, to hear that from somebody. Because nobody goes around and says, hey, you're dynamic. So you can say it about yourself, but when somebody says that to you, how do you receive that? Right. And that was the catalyst, for the game. And so for me, my word is dynamic. And even on the website for the game, it asks you when you play the game, what is your word? Because I think there's always going to be a word that shows up for somebody that challenges what they really believe they are.
And it's so funny that you say that, because if you're a woman that you're going through something, you are dynamic. I have to tell you that. Yes. You are a dynamic person. Yes. You're a wonderful person. Yes. And you've got to speak life over yourself.
You do.
in order to become more of a healthy woman inside out, I know it took me a while before I could say I was dynamic. You know, I put it on my bio, a dynamic speaker, a dynamic trainer. Really? But, you know, when you think about it, are you really dynamic?
Right.
You know, I look at everything, all my accomplishments in life, and I'm like, I've had great accomplishments.
Right.
I remember my granddaughter asking me a couple of weeks ago, she said, Diva, and that's what she calls me. And she said, Diva, are you famous? I'm like, and she thought that because I have a book.
Right.
And she's so excited about the book. Like, I gave her a keychain, and she told her teacher, my diva's famous. She wrote a book.
Right, exactly.
But, you know, and I had to think about that. That was coming from an 8-year-old.
Right, exactly.
Here's this 8-year-old that sees me as being famous.
Right.
So how do you see yourself?
Right.
And that's so important in order to be a healthy woman inside and out.
That is totally important.
So
how do you see yourself? I now see myself, and I know that I am dynamic, you know, and it makes me create the kind of life that a dynamic person would have, you know, for me, you know.
And you know what? Bringing that up and saying that, that's the way I feel now. Like, hey, I'm brain. I can conquer my world now, you know. And so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
So, Georgette.
Yes, Adele.
Can you tell our listening audience how they could contact you?
Yeah, sure. If you want to contact me for putting content on our network at HerTube, you can contact me at Georgette at HerTubePlus.com. So it is actually HerTubePlus.com. That's where you can see our network on, and we're expanding. And if you contact me, I'll send you more information about the expansion that we have coming up. But I would love to see filmmakers just reach out to me and put their films on our platform, as well as TV hosts like yourself, and anybody who has content. We're looking for content to fill up the network. And if you want to contact me on the level of reaching out to me about the card game, you can just contact me at Georgette at IMURCardDeck.com.
Can you repeat that again for our listening audience?
Georgette at IMURCardDeck.com.
Well, Georgette, it's been a pleasure to have you here. I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Adele. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. I just want to tell you that we do have the book, The Healthy Woman Inside and Out, and that book is available on Amazon as well as at AquariusCreationPublishing.com. That's Aquarius Creation, CREATION, Publishing.com. You are a healthy woman inside and out, and I want you to know that. Like Georgette said, I didn't feel comfortable at first saying terrific, but she is terrific, and so are you. You are a dynamic person. And until next time, thank you for watching The Healthy Woman Inside and Out.